Hello friends, welcome to Vigyan Ghar. Today we are here with our new series of MSc Botany 2020 paper of Delhi University. So the question is, gram-negative bacteria are more resistant to antibiotics than gram-positive bacteria because they possesses. Four options are given. So we have to look at the structures of gram-negative and gram-positive bacteria. So the gram-positive bacteria have a thick peptidoglycan layer and no outer lipid membrane, while the gram-negative bacteria have a thin peptidoglycan layer and an outer lipid membrane. So if many antibiotics like vancomycins targets the cell wall peptidoglycan, and they are ineffective in case of gram-negative bacteria because of the outer liposaccharide layer that give resistance to this bacteria against these antibiotics. So the correct option is option number A, outer lipopolysaccharide layer. The question is, the necessary free energy for flagellar rotation in bacteria is derived from. Four options are given. So the bacterial flagella are helically shaped structures that contain the protein flagellin. The movement which they show is rotatory movement, and they derives its energy from proton motive force or the ion gradient across the cell membrane. So the correct option is option number B, proton gradient across the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. The question is, the organism that derive energy from chemical oxidation and use inorganic carbon as the carbon source are known as. So four different options are given. Since in the question it is not mentioned that which chemical source is used, so we cannot distinguish as the chemoorganoautotrope or chemolithotropes. We will go with simple option number C, chemoautotropes. These are the organisms that derive energy from the chemical oxidation and use inorganic carbon as the carbon source. So option number C is correct, chemoautotropes. Now the question is, microorganisms that are capable of growth and reproduction in low temperatures ranging from -20 degrees Celsius to +10 degrees Celsius are known as. So let us look at the options one by one. A is mesophiles. So mesophiles are the organisms that grow best in moderate temperature, that is 20 to 45 degrees Celsius. Thermophiles are the organisms that survive in high temperatures like 50 to 80 degrees Celsius. Its example is Thermus aquaticus. Now, barophiles are the organisms that survive or grow optimally at the pressure greater than atmospheric pressure. And the C, that is psychrophiles. These are the extremophiles that have developed way to survive at extreme low temperature. These are found generally in ocean. The normal temperature of ocean is 2 degrees Celsius, but due to the higher salt content in colder areas, the temperature is very low as -12 degrees Celsius without freezing. So, the correct option is option number C, psychrophiles. Question is, which one of the following algae can survive in Dead Sea? Four options are given as different algae. So as we know, Dead Sea is devoid of life, but in 1936 some of the microbiologists examined that some bacteria and some algae found in Dead Sea. Some extremophiles are also present in Dead Sea. Interestingly, in 1980, the color of a Dead Sea changed to red due to surviving of the algae, that is Dunaliella. Actually, it turns feeding a red color halobacteria, and that will turn the water red. So the correct option is option number B, Dunaliella. Next question is, Cara is produced from. So four options are given. So this Cara is an extract from a red seaweed which is commonly known as Irish moss. This edible seaweed is very native to British Isles, where it is used in food industry and also as a gelling agent. In today's world, the most commonly used sources of Cara is Kappa ficus alvordzi and Euchemia denticulatum. So as second one is not given in the option, so we will go with option number C, that is Kappa ficus elverzi. Question is, which one of the following is a parasitic algae? Out of the four options given, it is Cephalorius, which is a parasitic algae also known as red rust. It is a genus of thalloid green algae comprising 14 species. Dichotomous branches are formed. This alga is parasitic on some important economic plants of tropics and subtropics such as tea, coffee, mango, guava, causing damage limited to the area of algal growth on leaves or killing new shoots. Members of this genera may also grow with a fungus to form a lichen that does not damage the plants. So the correct option is option number C, Cephalorius. The question is, the nucleus of Cara is capped by. Four options are given. So Cara is a multicellular green alga in which sexual reproduction is oogamous. Most of the species of Cara are monoecious. It means male sex organ and female sex organ is present on the same plant. Here the male sex organ is globule and the female sex organ is nucleus, as we can see in the picture. And we can see the nucleus is covered by 5 corona cells. So the correct option is option number D, corona cells. Next question is, the enzymes that detect improperly folded proteins are located in. So four options are given. So a newly synthesized protein enters the ER, that is endoplasmic reticulum, and undergo a series of modifications where it encounters many of chaperones and the folding enzymes that assist its proper folding. So ER uses a system, that is ER quality control system, that facilitates the proper folding of all the proteins. The misfolded proteins are gone by the ER-associated degradation mechanism. However, some misfolded proteins exit the ER and some are sent to the Golgi before degradation. One important ER-resistant protein is chaperone binding protein, which recognizes the incorrectly folded protein. So the correct option is option number B, endoplasmic reticulum. Next question is, the movement of cargo from endoplasmic reticulum to vesicular tubular cluster VTC or ER Golgi intermediate compartment ERGIC occurs via. So four options are given. So all the correctly folded and assembled proteins in the ER are packaged into COP2 coated vesicles that pinch off from the ER membrane. Shortly thereafter, the coat is shed and vesicles fuse with one another to form vesicular tubular clusters, which then move on the microtubule tracts to the Golgi apparatus. So it is D, that is COP2 coated vesicles. Next question is, the balance between which of the following proteins determine the progress of cells from G2 to M phase of cell cycle? So as we know, the transition from G2 to mitosis is most profound morphological and physiological change that occur during the life of a proliferating cell. Mainly there are two groups of protein called cyclins and cyclin-dependent kinases, that is CDKs, are responsible for the progress of cell through various checkpoints. These cyclins regulate the cell cycle only when they are tightly bound to CDKs. So, two main proteins that help in transition from G2 to M phase of cell cycle are CDC25 phosphatase and V1 kinase. That is option number A is correct. Now, the question is, pulse field gel electrophoresis is a procedure used to separate large DNA molecules. Different four options are given. So, pulse field gel electrophoresis is a gold standard technique that is used in genotyping, genetic fingerprinting. It is used for large DNA up to 10 megabase pairs. So in conventional setup, DNA fragments larger than that generally migrate essentially at the same velocity in a size-dependent manner. but at Columbia University's two scientists developed a variation on the standard protocol by introducing an alternating voltage gradient to improve the resolution of larger molecules. Also, during this, larger DNA molecules are separated in a gel matrix by applying an electric field that periodically changes at direction of 60 degrees than the previous, as we can see in the diagram in first pulse, second pulse and third pulse. There the angle is changed by 60 degrees. Also, the pulse time are equal for each direction that result in net forward migration of the DNA. So the correct option is option number A, by alternating the direction of applied voltage across a semi-solid gel in a pulsed manner. Now, the question is, a disaccharide formed by linking two glucose molecules by beta-1,4-glycosidic bond is. So, four options are given. We will see one by one. Option A, that is maltose. It is a disaccharide having two glucose units connected with alpha-1,4-glycosidic bond. Option number B, cellobiose, is a disaccharide having two glucose units connected by beta-1,4-glycosidic bond. Option number 3, that is trehalose, is a sugar consisting of two molecules of glucose connected with alpha-1,1-glycosidic bond. And last, that is lactose, is composed of galactose and glucose with beta-1,4-glycosidic bond. So by this content, we see that option number B, cellobiose, is correct. Question is, the concentration of H positive in a solution having pH 4.0 is. So four options are given. Since the pH is 4, means the solution has 10 raised to power minus 4 molar H positive ions, which is equivalent to 0.1 millimolar. So the closest answer would be 0.4 millimolar, that is option number C. The question says, vacuum is maintained in the column of a transmission electron microscope to increase the. So, vacuums are needed to prevent electrical discharge in the gun assembly and also to allow the electrons to travel within the instrument unimpeded. There are many scales to measure the vacuum levels, some being mmHg, Pascal, torr, and atmosphere. So the correct option is option number D, mean free path of electrons. Next question is, the myosin head decoration experiment reveals that. So four options are given. As we know, myosin actin muscle contraction not only present in animals, but it is also present in plants, and they also have microfilaments. So these microfilaments in plants are composed of two strands of subunits of protein actin that wound in spiral form. This actin works with another protein, that is myosin, to assist with cell movement, cell division, cytoplasmic streaming, cellular integrity, and all the muscles movement. So the actin filament is known for structural and possess functional polarity. So as we see in the picture given here, that the myosin is composed of positive and negative and. The positive end is known for association and negative end is known for dissociation. So G-actin polymerized to form F-actin. It shows that they are polar in nature, having positive and negative end. So the correct option is option number A, microfilaments are composed of G-actin and are polar in nature. Question is, asexual fruiting body consisting of conidiophores aggregated into parallel bundles is termed as. Four options are given. So, Cynnema, the plural is Cynnemata. It is a large erect reproductive structure borne by some fungi bearing compact conidiophores, as we can see in the picture also, which fuse together to form a strand with conidia at the end or on the edges. It resembles the stalk of a wheat. Fungal genera which bear Cynnemata includes Doratomyces. So correct option is option number D, Cynnema. The question is, Which one of the following statement is incorrect for Puccinia graminis, F. species triticum, causal organism for black rust of wheat? So this Puccinia graminis is a heterothelic macrocyclic heterostaceous rust fungus which cause black rust in many plants. It requires unrelated two hosts such as wheat and barberry to complete their life cycle. Its life cycle consists of 5 spore stages, that is basidiospore, pycnospores, asiospores, uridinospores and teleospores. So now the teleospores are two-celled, thick-walled. Initially they are dikaryotic, but later due to karyogamy they result in the formation of a diploid nucleus in each cell. Whereas the basidiospores are haploid spores that are capable of infecting alternate host, that is barberry, as you can see this in the picture also. But the statement for uridinospore given in the question is that they are dikaryotic. It is correct, they are dikaryotic. But the thick wall spores are incapable of reinfecting wheat plant. This statement is incorrect because as we can also see in the picture that uridinospore can also reinfect the wheat plant. So correct option will be option number B. Question says plant pathogens Phytophthora, albugo and Plasmopara belong to the kingdom. So different 4 options are given. Straminipila is a new kingdom for oomycetes fungi that cause many serious plant diseases each year. Certain oomycetes genera including Phytophthora that cause late blight of potatoes, albugo that cause white rust of crucifers, and Plasmopara that cause downy mildew have been placed in the kingdom Chromista or the kingdom Straminipila, which include water moles, diatoms, and brown algae. So the correct option is option number C, Straminipila. Now, the question is which one of the following pairs is incorrectly matched? So, out of the 4 options given, option number A and option number D is correctly matched. One can have the confusion between B and C. The B, that is Dolichos septa in hyphae in the Basidiomycota, is correct one. Dolichos septa are specialized dividing walls between cells found in all species of fungi in phylum Basidiomycota. Whereas the option C, dikaryotic hyphae in Chytridiomycota, is incorrectly matched because the Chytridiomycota are cenocytic with no distinction between individual cells. The filaments are long and tubular with a cytoplasm lining and large vacuole in the center. So, option number C is correct. The question is, in Myxomycetes, the diploid stage is represented by. So, in members of Myxomycota division, they are commonly referred to as slime molds, which were once thought to be fungi because they produce spores that are born in sporangia, that is the common characteristics of some fungi. And the assimilated stage, that is Myxamoeba, is similar to that of amoeba. So, the Myxomycetes now are referred to as acellular slime molds found on moist soil, decaying wood and dung. Most Myxomycetes species can be found throughout the world. And then if we look at the life cycle of Myxomycetes, so only there are 2 stages, that is Plasmodium and Sporangium, that is diploid. So option number C is correct. Question is, which one of the following shows continuous spore production throughout the growing season due to the activity of basal meristem in the sporophyte? Out of the 4 options given, it is anthocerose. It consists of foot, meristematic zone theta, and a capsule. We will see all of the 3 one by one. So foot is a bulbous multicellular mass of parenchymatous cells which act as a hostorium and absorb food and water from other cells. Whereas theta is an intermediate or intercalary zone which is made up of meristematic cells and it adds constantly new cells to the capsule at its base which enable its growth for a long period and form spores. Third, that is capsule. It is a small cylinder erect structure which consists of internal parts, that is columella, archisporium and capsule wall, As the capsule matures, its tips become brownish or black and it eventually releases spores. So the correct option is option number B, anthocerose. The question is, which one of the following statement is incorrect? Out of the four statements given, the option number D is incorrect. That is, in sphagnum, spore dispersal is facilitated by peristome. It is incorrect because it is the mosses in which the peristome is helpful in spore dispersal. The sphagnum do not contain any peristome structure. It employs the air gun mechanism for spore dispersal. As the capsule dries, it shrinks, compresses the air filled inside it. The operculum is short off and takes away spores along with it, making a popping sound. So, option number D is correct. The question is, which one of the following statement is incorrect about Markensia? So, as we know, Markensia is divided into two zones. The upper photosynthetic zone, which consists of epidermis and also the air chambers or air pores, which help in gaseous exchange. And the lower zone is storage zone, that consists of storage cells. In lower zone, they have rhizoids, which help in absorbing the water and minerals from the soil and also attaching the thallus to the substratum. Scales are also present, and the groups of archegonias are surrounded by perichaetia. So the correct option is option number A, multicellular rhizoids are present. Question is, one of the five evolutionary processes envisaged in telome theory, the one that possibly lead to origin and evolution of venation in leaves and the complex anastomizing vascular system in the stem is. Telome theory is one of the comprehensive theory and it consists of many evolutionary processes. The one which lead to evolution of venation in leaves and the vascular system in the plant is syngenesis. It is also known as webbing. The tangential fusion of mesomes and telomes takes place. The lateral fusion of sterile vegetative telomes and the mesomes resulted in the complex anastomizing vascular system in stem. One of the examples for this is polystylic condition in Selaginella, and the fusion of fertile trusses with the terminal sporangia resulted in the formation of syngenia of cytolum. So the correct option is option number D, syngenesis. The question is, which one of the following is mismatched? So out of the four options given, the option number C, that is stomium, the membranous covering of Sorus enteris, is incorrect because stomium is not the membranous covering, it is the lining of cells between two pollen sacs in a pollen grain that help in dehiscence of anther or release of old pollen grain. So the correct option is option number C, stomium, the membranous covering of Sorus enteris. The question is, which one of the following is incorrect about genetum? So out of the four options given, option number D, development of female gametophyte is monosporic, is incorrect because development of female gametophyte in genetum is tetrasporic, that is when all four megaspores are involved in formation of embryo sac. So the correct option is option number D, development of female gametophyte is monosporic. So next question is the type of stomata where the stoma is surrounded by three subsidiary cells and the one of which is significantly smaller than the other two are termed as. So let us see this question with the help of this diagram. Option number A is anomocytic, in which there is 3 to 4 subsidiary cells which are unequal in size. Anisocytic, in which 3 subsidiary cells are present, out of which the one is smaller than the other two. In diacytic, the two subsidiary cells are present which are perpendicular to each other, and in parasitic, the two subsidiary cells are parallel to each other. So by this content we see option number B is correct, that is anisocytic. Now the question is, which one of the following statement is incorrect for non-articulate leticiferous? So First of all, a lenticular is a type of elongated secretory cell found in leaves or the stem of the plant that produces latex and rubber as secondary metabolites. These lenticulars are of two types, articulate and non-articulate. So the characteristics of non-articulate lenticulars are that they originate from single cells, arise in primary plant body, and do not undergo fusion with other similar cells. These are found in Nerium. So the option number D that is given, that latex containing cells present in hevea are examples of non-articulate. So it is incorrect because the example is Nerium. Hevea is the example of articulate lenticulars. So option number D is correct. The question is, according to Henstein histogen theory, peribellum one of the three histogen forms. So the Henstein histogen theory was proposed in 1868. According to it, the shoot apical meristem consists of three distinct zones. First is dermatogen, the external layer, which forms the outer covering of all the organ of the plant. Second is peripellum, the middle layer that give rise to cortex and endodermis. Third is plerome, the central layer that form the pith and primarily vascular bundle. The plerome is present between the xylem and the phloem. So the correct option is option number A, cortex. Next question says, primary peripheral thickenings meristem are the characteristic feature of. Four options are given. So the primary thickening meristem is responsible for primary thickening of a stem axis. The extensive primary stem thickening has been observed in non-monocotyledons like ferns, lycopods, cycads. In palms, the activity of primary thickening meristem lateral to the apical meristem produces much greater increments of cortical parenchyma that would result only if an apical meristem was present. For this reason, only apical end of the stem in palm is not smaller than its base. So the correct option is option number D, palms. Now the question is, choose the incorrect statement about plants with ring porous wood. So hardwoods are of two types, ring porous and diffuse porous. In ring porous, the vessels at the start of growing seasons are much larger than the vessels at the end of the season. Whereas in diffuse porous, the vessels are of same diameter throughout the season. Ring porous are always deciduous and found in no temperate areas, whereas diffuse porous are found in tropical regions. And the presence of distinct rings can be used for dating the age of the tree, that is dendrochronology. So the correct option is option number B. It is a plesiomorphic feature. The question is, in bijugate plants with helical phyllotaxy, the angle of divergence is approximately. So four different options are given. Phyllotaxy is basically the leaf arrangement. In plants with helical phyllotaxy, leaf primordia are produced in sequence along a helical pathway called the generative spiral. It is evident that each new leaf on the plant is positioned at a certain angle to the previous one, that is known as angle of divergence. So angle of divergence in monojugate plants is 137.5 degree, whereas in bijugate plants with two generative spiral it is 68.7 degrees. So the correct option is option number A, 68.7 degrees. Question is, plastochrone refers to. Four different options are given. So as we know, at constant temperature, as the tip of the plant shoot grows, new leaves are produced at regular time intervals. The arrangement of these leaves is known as phyllotaxy and the time interval is known as plastochrone. The idea of plastochrone ratio was first introduced by F.J. Richard in 1951. So the correct option is option number A, the time interval between inception of two successive primordia. Next question is, parenchyma surrounding the vessels and extending tangentially in wing-shaped masses is known as. So parenchyma are wood tissues that is typically used by tree to store and distribute carbohydrates. Confluent parenchyma are the parenchyma that connect two or several pores. Iliform parenchyma are wing shaped, as we can see in the picture, that look like an airplane. Paratracheal parenchyma are the parenchyma which connect or are closed to pore. Terminal parenchyma are present at the terminal parts of the plant. So the correct option is option number B, iliform parenchyma. Next question says clove is A vegetative bud, B fruit, C seed and D dried flower bud. So clove are the unopened aromatic flower buds of a tree in the family Martaceae. So the correct option is option number D, dried flower bud. Now question is which one of the following is not an oil seed crop? So four options are given. As per the reports, Brassica junicea, that is Indian mustard, sunflower, Helianthus anus, and safflower, Cerathemus tinctorius, are the dominant species grown in Indian subcontinent as important source of edible oil in India. But Brassica campestris, commonly known as field mustard or turnip mustard, is plant widely cultivated as a leaf vegetable, root vegetable, and sometimes as an oil seed. But the other three, that is Brassica junicea, Cerathemus tinctorius, and Helianthus anus, are mostly grown as an oil seed. They are dominant in that, whereas Brassica campestris is more grown as a root vegetable or a leaf vegetable. So the correct option is option number C, Brassica campestris. Now, question is which plant is commonly called Indian bay leaf plant? Four options are given. Out of four, it is Cinnamomum temella, which is known as Indian bay leaf plant. Indian bay leaves are larger, olive green in color, and have three veins running the length of the leaf as opposed to the single vein and usually present on a laurel bay leaf. The Cinnamon tremella, Indian bay leaf, also known as Tezpatta, Malabar leaf, Indian bark, Indian cassia. It comes under the family Lauraceae that is native to India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan and China. The aroma and flavor of Indian bay leaf is very strong. So, out of the four options, option D is correct. Now next question is match the items mentioned in list 1 with those of list 2. So list 1 is of medicinal plant and 2 is of their bioactive compounds. So as we know, the Cinchona ledarginia is correctly matched with option number 2, that is quinine, because quinine is a natural alkaloid isolated from Cinchona species which has been used against malaria. By this method we can neglect option number A and option number D. We are only left with option B and option C. Now the D is Claviceps purpura. It is correctly matched with lysergic acids because, as we know, lysergic acid is a precursor for arginine alkaloids that are produced by ergot fungus, that is Claviceps purpura. And we have the option number C as the correct one because all the correct options are matched correctly. Question is, bast fibers are obtained from. Four options are given. We have to choose the correct option. So, bast fibers are also known as phloem fibers. It is a type of fiber that can be collected from the phloem or the bast surrounding the stem of some dicotyledon plant. So, these bast fibers are obtained from jute, that is Corchorus capsularis, Cannabinus sativa hemp, and Cortellia juneica, that is sun hemp or brown hemp. It can also be obtained from plants like linden, wisteria, and mulberry. So, the correct option is option number C, A, B, and D. Hope you all like the video. Like our video, share our channel and also subscribe our channel for more updates. Thank you.